What's up, everybody? Today we have Avery Small. She's one of our athletes who had an awesome. I mean, she had one of her vertical jump was one of the biggest vertical jumps that we've had at any of our results ever. It's very impressive. But today we have her running analysis. We do this right when she starts into our program. We just did them the other day. She was averaging a 1.73 10-yard dash, and now she's a 1.7, so she's going a little bit faster in her 5, 10 or her 10-yard dash. Her vertical jump went up almost 5 inches, which is crazy. I mean, we've had three girls increase over 4 inches, which in my whole career I've never had anybody do that. She dropped her 5.10.5, which is change direction test, from a 5.21 to a 4.87, which again, once you're getting under 5, you're getting very competitive for girls. And then chin ups, she went from a slight bend or pretty much 0 to doing 1, which is a huge accomplishment because chin ups are crazy hard. But just to give you an idea, there's small changes that we've made, and these, the running form is very difficult to change. But we're constantly working on it. We're constantly pushing in their heads. There's so many things to think about, but she does a great job from her first one. Her first one's up top. Her second one that we just did the other week is down below. So right off the bat, when she starts pushing out, what I'm looking at is, how low is she? Is her upper body, is her chest facing down, which is a little bit more. She's kind of rounded over a little bit. Um, but as she drives through, the big thing with Avery is one, now she's driving through the balls of her feet, which is huge because if you heel strike, you're kind of pressing the brakes. And then as she presses out, okay, so up top, okay, so this leg's almost straight, okay, and her knee is up and her hips are forward, but her shin angle, she's kind of stepping out in front, where below on the bottom, okay, she's fully extended out, driving through the ball of her foot. Okay, knee shin is still a little bit forward, but we're doing better. Now, the big thing that with her focusing on, or that I'm going to have you focus on today, watching this, is the balls of her feet. So she lands here pretty much kind of flat-footed. She does a lot better in her first step. She lands on the ball of her foot, but kind of drops her heel. And as she goes, you can see up top, she kind of lands middle of her foot. Getting better, she's landing on the balls of her feet. Up top, we have a big heel strike. Okay, we're starting to stand up and we're starting to reach. Okay, so she goes heel strike down, better on the ball of her foot, which is awesome. This is really hard. This is like kind of one of the first steps. If somebody's heel striking, that's the first thing that we want to fix. We want to say, hey, we want you pressing go all the time. Now, also too, on her first step, you can see why we want our shin angle, okay, on our front foot to be a certain way. So when we come up, your shin angle, you want this shin to be parallel to the back, because pretty much right now you can see she's pushing forward. Where before, if you stand up, and that's why we want our kids low, if you stand up, you're too low, or excuse me, if you stand up, you're too high and you're pushing down instead of pushing back, which will propel you forward. So if you can see her front foot, okay, land, you can see this angle that she's at. Okay, so she's bent, she's on the balls of her feet, her knee is way far forward. That's why when we do lunges, we have our athletes push their knee over their toes, which everyone's like, oh, it's so bad for your knees, but that's huge for athletes. Because of this position, when they sprint, their knee is going to be way over their toes, and they have to drive through that foot and drive through that quad, dig through their hamstring, squeeze their glutes. So she's doing a much better job since she's landing on the balls of her heel or balls of her feet now, that she can push out, and you can see she's pushing down and back, okay, and then that's propelling her forward. Okay, up top she still does it, but when she lands, much better now. She's still pushing down and back, where up top she is, but not as much. So you can see up here, she's pretty much straight up and down. This one, she's still driving back and reaching forward and driving that knee up, where this one, she's kind of straight up and her knee really can't come up that high because she's not driving down and back as much as she can. So that's huge for an athlete to understand, and that's a big thing that we're focused on coaching on is that they need to be able to know how to put force into the ground and then do so in any direction that they'd like to. So whether they're changing direction or just sprinting straight, we want them putting force into the ground effectively and the most efficient way, which is why like stuff that we're working on running wise, like, when we're having them, drive their knee up, but then keep their front shin parallel. So we're trying to go as far forward as you can, extending out, reaching, because then we can go through the ball of our foot and again, push out, and then real sticklers on keeping them low so that they can keep doing that, because that means they can accelerate longer and more effectively. So thanks for watching and checking out Avery. When you get a 5-inch vertical increase, that's a dramatic change to your game. So we're really excited to see her um, play lacrosse and get into it um, and dominate. So if you guys have any questions or want to learn more about how you can do a running analysis with us, please feel free to reach out. And thanks again. Bye.